Okay, I picked this incredibly windy day to do a video on form, gap shooting, try to explain the difference between gap shooting, string walking, what a fixed crawl is, how I look down the arrow for close range for hunting, and I'm going to just touch base on instinctive. I know it's a real touchy subject, everybody's got their opinion on it, but for all of these different types of shooting, and there are other types of shooting too, but we're just going to cover these today. For all these types of shooting, we're going to discuss form first, because you have to have good form no matter what you do. And if you're really new and you're not really sure what form is, it's you have to have the same repeatable steps every time you shoot. You have to be a shooting, I'm holding on, this stand's a little windy. You have to be a shooting machine. Okay, we're going to discuss shooting form first, okay? No matter what technique you use, you have to have good shooting form, okay? I stand 30 to 35 degrees to the target, okay? I'm shooting bare bow, what I call bare bow, no sights, okay? And I hunt this way, I shoot 3D. It's different than Olympic, all right? So this is basically for hunting in 3D. You need a good shooting form. Even for Olympics, you have good shooting form, but it's a little different form, a little different stance. Okay, so first of all, 30, 35 degrees, and what that allows to happen is the string is away from my arm. So when I put a hunting coat on, it will not hit the hunting coat, okay? I'm gonna draw back, touch anchor, middle finger to the corner of my mouth, okay, and when I release, I'm going to maintain pressure on my face, whether I use static or I use back tension, okay? My hand is going to be upright. I shoot this bow upright, all right, not canted. If you shoot it canted, you shoot it canted. But I want your bow hand to be right on target even after you release, no matter what style you're shooting, okay? If it's a loose grip, that's okay. Keep your arm up on target after the arrow is released, and that applies to everything, gap, you know, whatever you're shooting, instinctive, everything. Keep your hand up and on target after you release, okay? Okay, here we are at 10 yards. I'm going to gap shoot. And what I'm going to do is, I hook the string under the knot, middle finger to the corner of my mouth, and because I'm at close range, that point of the arrow is going to touch the belly of the deer, and it's going to rise into the target, okay? And you'll have to determine with your bow arrow combination at close, medium, and long range where you have to put the point for hunting in 3D. Okay, if you got a really fast bow with light arrows, you might have to put a gap underneath the target. You know, you could do different ways of thinking out of it, you know, 18 inches below the X, below the 10 ring, you know, or put a tuna can below, whatever works for you, okay? So 3 under, feather to my nose. I'm going to put the point underneath the deer target. Okay, I'm going to be a shooting machine. Okay, I keep my hand against the face, keep my arm up after the shot, okay, and it went right where I wanted it to go, okay? To give you an idea, I'm going to stop this, take a picture of what it looks like with the arrow pointing on the belly of the deer. Listen, I know you understand what I'm talking about, but I'm going to stop, put a picture just so you can see what it looks like, all right? Okay, here I am. I'm going to gap shoot at 20 yards. I'm going to put the point on. I'm going to try to be a shooting machine. Middle finger to the corner of my mouth. Keep my bow arm up after I shoot. Keep my hand against my face. Okay, let's go take a look, and then I'm going to stop the video and show you what the arrow looks like at 20 yards. I'll take a picture. Look at the wind. I'm shooting today. A big storm's coming in tonight. And I'm shooting in crazy winds. The camera stand blew over twice already. Okay. It hit where I wanted to go, all right? Okay, just so you know, when I hunt, I go up the back leg, and this way I'm hitting the lung area. I'm not really so much aiming for a heart. I want to put it through the lungs, because as long as you go through the lungs, the deer's not going far, okay? Can't run if you can't breathe, okay? Now, as far as gap shooting goes, go back, I could put it on the back of the deer, and it'll drop down into the heart lung area or the 10 ring. That's what I want to be, okay? But we have other things that we want to discuss. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna shut the video off now. Okay, first talked about gap shooting, and now we're going to talk about string walking. And in order to string walk, we want to find out at what point when we anchor, the tip of the arrow is point on. Because from that point, at closer ranges, we can go down the string and keep on putting the point on and be very accurate and hit where we want to look. Okay, so I'm all the way out here at 35 yards. I'm using the top finger to the corner of my mouth. I'm going to try and be a shooting machine. I'm going to try and keep my hand against my face. I'm going to try and keep my arm up after the shot, okay? And we're going to see if I can hit the blue. And basically, from that point on, I could drop down stitches to be accurate all the way in, okay? Just to give you an understanding of how it works. Okay, top finger to the corner of my mouth. I'm going to be a shooting machine. Okay, good enough. Okay, I hit the heart. I was aiming a little to the right, but at 35 yards, this is my hunting bow. I am not taking 35-yard shots. This is just for the purpose of the video. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do is the next video I'm going to splice in, we're going to move up. We're going to take a 25-yard shot, okay? Okay, here we are at 25 yards. I'm going to go down 3/4 of an inch and put the point on. I'm going to be a shooting machine. Keep my hand against my face, keep my bow arm up, stay on target, and release. Let's see how it works out. Okay, we got good height. Okay, it went to just a little to the left of the heart that I was aiming at. And now what we're going to do is, since the bear's at 20, we're going to go down an inch. We're going to string walk an inch and aim for that bear at 20. Just so you get the idea. From your point on, you'll have to figure out every bow, arrow, weight combination, draw length will change where you have to string walk down for it to work for you, okay? So that was 3/4. We're going to try an inch and aim at the bear. And then we're going to talk about the fixed crawl, okay? Okay, so the deer at 25 was 3/4 down. And now we're going to shoot the bear, okay? And we're going to try going down an inch because we're getting closer, okay? So I'm going to go an inch, put the point on the bear, and we're going to see how it hits, okay? Bear's 20 yards. Okay? Okay, it's right there. I'll walk the camera down and show you. But I want to speak about a fixed crawl. From what my understanding is, now that we're doing this string walking, let's say you have a deer runway, you know, let's say you have a deer trail that's 20 yards from your tree stand. So now we know that if we go down 1 inch, we can hit the target, right? So if it's a little dark early in the morning, you're going to have a hard time looking, trying to figure out, oh, where do I got to put my finger? So what they do is they go down to 3/4 or 1 inch, it's 1 inch, and I'll put another crimp, okay? So what you do is, you know, you have your arrow knocked, and all of a sudden, here comes a deer, you know, it's dusky out, you don't want, you just slide your tab right up to the bottom of that knock. You already know it's 1 inch for that range you want, and you can change that fixed crawl knock to whatever suits you, okay? You just slide up, hit it, and you know that, okay, that's 20 yards to the trail. So you just slide up, hit it, draw, anchor, and release. Okay, so there's no, it's like gap shooting without looking, okay? That's what the idea, from what I understand, the fixed crawl is. Okay, if you have a 15-yard trail that the deer travel on, and you know, they usually travel, you know, dawn, dusk, you could put that knock on to avoid all this looking and stuff. Slide it up, whatever it is, like 15 yards might be 1.25 inches. Slide up, hit it, draw, and shoot, and you're good to go. Okay, so I just wanted to touch base on a few things, okay? Gap shooting is feather to the nose. You start from your point on and work closer. And as you get closer, the arrow will rise, you'll have to aim lower. So let's say your point's on at 20 yards. At 15 yards, you may have to put it on the belly of the deer, okay? Maybe at 10 yards, you might have to leave a little space below the deer. Like I said, it's different for every setup, okay? But you go from your point on, and you'll have to aim a little lower, 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 and then very low the closer you are, okay? So that is gap shooting. String walking, you find your point on, and from that point on, which mine is all the way out to 35 yards, you know, with the top finger to the corner of my mouth. And then what you do is start string walking down a little at a time, and the closer you get, the bigger the gap will be, okay? That fixed crawl has to do with that gap shooting, okay? With the string walking rather. I gotta say this correct for the video. Okay, the string walking, okay, when you find that point you want to hunt from, you know, let's say most of your shots are 20 yards, you could put a knock there, and that's your fixed crawl. You just slide it up, got a 20-yard knock, draw, aim, and let go, okay? If you got time, you know, when the sun's out, everything's beautiful, then what you can do is you can go back to, you know, the string walking and be precision out to wherever you got to go. Okay, that's the general idea. Now, I just want to touch base quickly on instinctive shooting. And I don't want to argue this point. Everybody has their own idea. Everybody has their own interpretation of what this is. Okay, but I'm going to tell you, if you're going to shoot instinctive, and people say it's like, I got to put my foot on the stand, it's like a hurricane I'm videotaping it. Video, like throwing a ball, okay? They say it's muscle memory. Well, it's more than muscle memory, okay? Your brain is like a computer. It's a very precise computer. And what you do is you're looking at something close, medium, and far, let's say, okay? Let's say targets, close, medium, and far, okay? You'd have to have good form. So what I would suggest is you go to a blank bail, make sure you have the same stance every time, you feel it, okay? However you shoot, split finger, 3 under, whatever you do, feel your anchor point. Know your bow arm is up. Hold steady, whether you got a loose grip or you're holding it really tight. Loose grip or holding it tight. Keep it up, right? Elbow all the way back, no chicken wings. You ever see some guys shooting, especially the older fellas like me, you know, older fellas that don't shoot right? They have what I call the chicken wing. okay, to keep that elbow out. They never bring the elbow back. You have to bring your elbow all the way back until you can't bring it back no more, okay? Everything I talked about as far as form, you have to have your elbow all the way back, be a shooting machine, keep pressure on your face. When you release with back tension, maintain it. If you shoot with static, keep it there, and keep your bow arm up after the shot, okay? So once again, I'm going to touch base on this instinctive stuff here. So once you've got your shooting form down, okay, and you visualize the target, you see a target, look at that bear, okay? You're going to take an arrow, okay? Now, I can't shoot instinctive. I don't really care for it, all right? But you see that bear, I'm focusing on that bear. My brain, the computer, is gonna look. So wherever I miss, the next time I shoot, it's gonna correct for it, right? Here we go, I'm gonna shoot 3 under instinctive. I'm just gonna pull up, touch up, and I'm gonna look at the spot that I wanna hit and release. But there's more than muscle memory. Your brain is taking in the whole picture, and it's recording close distance, it's seeing things that you're not even thinking about. Where your hand is, okay? I guess I didn't do pretty good. I guess I did pretty good. See that? It's a little high, okay? But my form is good. My form is good. You see my hand stayed against my face, my arm was up, and that bear is 20 yards, and I killed that bear, shooting quickly and instinctively. So all I'm gonna say on that note is that you have to practice, and practice at different ranges so your brain gets programmed, muscle memory and brain gets programmed to hold points. And get practice. You want to make sure even if you shoot quick, you come back and you touch anchor. When you release, you can release quick, but stay there. Stay there after the shot, okay? And that'll help you learn how to shoot instinctive a little faster. Now, people may disagree, but that's my opinion. Do whatever works for you, okay? One more thing, just gonna go over everything. When you shoot, trust your shot. You have to trust your shot, okay? No peeking. Peeking is this. You wanna watch the arrow hit the target. Big thing with deer hunting. Guys say, oh, I missed the deer, I shot under it. 95% of the guys that shot under the deer, they did this. Watch my bow arm. They wanted to watch the arrow hit the deer and they dropped their arm. I'm telling you, 95% of the misses, they may not even realize it, but that's what they did. They wanted to watch the arrow hit that deer, okay? So, there's no peeking. Trust your shot. Keep your arm up and on target even after you release with the deer. All right? You'll still be able to see that deer run away with a hole in it or the arrow in it or whatever, okay? No peeking, no plucking. Maintain pressure on your face. Don't pluck, okay? No dropping your arm, okay? And that has to do a little with peeking too. Don't drop your arm. Maintain, trust that you're going to hit it, okay? And no chicken wing. No chicken wing. Make sure that arm is all the way back where you can't go no more, okay? If somebody pushed on this arm, it'll move your whole body. That's where you want to be. You want to be in alignment, see? Okay, that's my video I made today in these hurricane conditions. I just wanted to touch base on different things. Form, what gap shooting is, what string walking is, what a fixed crawl is. Instinctive, I just want to touch base. Make sure you have a good form. Do everything the same way every time. It'll help you get on target more often and get your brain programmed to hit where you're looking. Okay, this is all my opinion. Okay, so try it. I hope it works for you. And if you have a better way, do it. This is just what I do. These are my suggestions, and do whatever works for you. Keep shooting. Have a good day. Okay, I almost forgot to add this. You can look at my video on Barebow Joe plotting arrow trajectory, and you can see exactly how I look down the arrow. I'm going to show you quick now. What it is what I normally do is if you have a deer that comes out right under your tree stand, okay? whether you're up in a tree or on the ground, and it comes out at some point from like 0 to as far as out as you could be, maybe 14 yards, you can take your hand, lay the top finger, you see where your cheek is? Right here next to your eye, there's a depression. Okay, look, 3 under, pull back, lay it right here in that depression, elbow all the way back, be a shooting machine, and you put the point right on that deer, okay, and you'll hit every time, okay? The arrows, when you put it here, sometimes your hand's a little away from your face and you may shoot a tiny bit to the right, but even if you put it right on, it's so minute, it's still in the kill area. What I'll do is I'll just walk down close with the stand. It's really windy. I hope this thing don't blow over again. Okay, here we are. Look. Okay, 3 under. Gonna lay it right there. Okay, looking right down. Okay, that's real close. That's closer than 10 yards, okay? Now we're gonna go back a little further. Going back like maybe 12 yards now, okay? Okay? Be a shooting machine. You always have to be a shooting machine no matter what style or how you're doing. Okay, I'm gonna come back, put my hand right in that groove, okay? Be a shooting machine right in there. Just put the point on, okay? Now you have to practice this from a tree stand. You know, the good idea is you wear a safety belt, have a friend with you, move the target around, you take turns. One guy shoots, retrieves the arrow, back and forth, and you take turns, okay? But a lot of times guys will be like, oh, the deer's right there, 10 yards. Where do I put it? Do I put it in the dirt so it rises into it? Where do I aim? If you look down the arrow, put it right on the deer. Okay, I'm going to pull the arrow and we're going to go back like 15. Real windy. I'm kind of glad I'm going to make it out to 15 without having to fall over. Okay, here we are at 15. Okay, look, 15, it's right there. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you. If you look down the arrow, put it right in that groove here, and hold it there and be a shooting machine, you'll kill that deer right on from 0 to 15 yards, all right? You have to try it and practice it. Just sharing, you don't have to do it. You can do whatever works for you.